Hi, I'm Noah, and I roast famous figures. Today I'll be roasting host of America's Next Top Model and a woman who reminds me of one of those butterflies with eyes on its wings to intimidate predators, Tyra Banks. Banks is known for America's Next Top Model, which was the subject of a recent documentary, Reality Check, which portrays Banks as an evil genius who exploited desperate young women by putting them through traumatic situations to boost her own fame. Of course, Banks rose up through the challenging modeling industry herself, so she should really know better. One of the most horrific things covered in the documentary was the show's decision to frame contestant Shandy Sullivan being sexually assaulted as her cheating on her boyfriend, with Banks leading conversation with the contestants the next day about cheating, in which she told Sullivan, "We have to fight against our carnal desires." Truly disgusting, but Banks was the host. In order to assign responsibility, we'd have to talk about the show's executive producers, who were oh. As if that wasn't awful enough, later, when Banks had that season's contestants reunite on the Tyra Banks show, Banks played a clip from the episode where Sullivan was assaulted, despite Sullivan asking her not to, then asked her why she wasn't watching the clip. Sometimes people just aren't able to bring themselves to look at things. You know, like how Banks shouldn't be able to look at herself in the mirror. Banks and America's Next Top Model weren't shy about exploiting trauma, such as when they had season 8 contestant Dionne Walters, whose mother had been paralyzed by a gunshot, pose as a gunshot victim herself. That's so disgusting. I don't want to see what anyone on that show looks like after they've been shot, but if I had to choose, well, Walters isn't my first choice. Banks has said that she wanted to showcase models who weren't all skinny, but when contestant Whitney Thompson, who was around a size 6, was often given clothes that didn't fit her by the show, Banks said, "If you don't fit the clothes, you don't work." I believe Banks when she said that she doesn't want models who are just skinny. She also wanted thin, very thin, and translucent. Season 4 contestant Kenya Hill's weight was also consistently highlighted, from the show asking her to pose as Gluttony from the Seven Deadly Sins, or an elephant for an animal-themed challenge, to Banks telling her point blank, "It's all about choices. You can order a burger and take the bread off." I actually think Hill made good, hard choices. For instance, she made the choice to not tackle Banks when she said that shit. Alright, please consider donating to help the family that I sponsor in Gaza. If you'd like to support me or watch bonus videos, please check out my Then let me know who else to roast, and join me next time for part 2 of my roast of 11th US President and a man seen here in the early stages of his attempt to become the first male Rapunzel, James K. Polk.